Join me as I take on the challenge of becoming the person I've always wanted to be in just 30 days. You want to become powerful, successful, respected, and rich. Then act like it, not tomorrow, not next week. Now, you're walking around pretending that one day, by some miracle, you're going to transform into the person you dream of being, while every action you take today directly contradicts that fantasy. You want to be dominant, focused, and relentless, but your behavior reflects weakness, indecision, and laziness. You say you want greatness, yet you live like a man who's okay with being average, and that's the problem. You don't understand that greatness is a decision, not a destination. Transformation isn't magic. It's not waiting for you on the other side of luck or motivation or some perfect alignment of the stars. It starts the second you decide to adopt the identity of the man you claim you want to become. You have to become him before you are him. You have to act, think, speak, and move like the person you see in your mind's eye, even when it feels fake. Especially when it feels fake. That's the price of evolution. You don't grow by acting like your current self. You grow by killing him off every single day and choosing the next version. Let me break it to you like this: nobody's coming. No mentor is magically going to appear. No girl is going to love you into success. No opportunity is going to land in your lap just because you have potential. The world doesn't care about your potential. It responds to behavior, execution, discipline, results. You think people will respect you just because you want it. They'll only respect you when you earn it, when you carry yourself like a man with standards. A man with vision, a man with a code, and right now, you're probably living like a man who's winging it. You're playing life like it's a game you're trying not to lose instead of a war you're here to dominate. You wake up late. You procrastinate. You say you'll start tomorrow. You speak like you don't believe in your own power. You look in the mirror and barely recognize yourself because you know deep down you're bullshitting your way through life. That voice inside you screaming, "We were meant for more," you keep silencing it with cheap dopamine, distractions, and excuses. And here's what nobody wants to admit. Excuses are the language of the weak. You say you're tired, who cares? You say you had a rough childhood. So did millions of others who still chose greatness. You say you don't have time, bullshit. You just waste it. You scroll, you overthink. You hang with people who lower your energy instead of sharpen it. You don't have a time issue, you have a priority issue, because if being elite was truly your priority, your habits would reflect it. Right now, they don't. Every single day, you're either feeding the man you want to be or the man you need to kill. Every bite of food you eat, every word you speak, every thought you entertain, every action you take, it all stacks, either for you or against you. The world doesn't hand out power to people who behave like victims. Power is seized, and if you're still walking around looking for someone to give you permission to be great, then you're already disqualified. You say you want to be rich, but do you study like a rich man? Do you work like one? Do you carry yourself with the confidence of a man who builds empires? You say you want discipline, but you still hit snooze. You say you want respect, but you still laugh at dumb jokes and surround yourself with people who offer nothing but noise. Respect yourself first. Elevate your standards. Look around you. Does your environment reflect ambition or comfort? Because if you're surrounded by comfort, you're surrounded by death. Growth doesn't live in the comfort zone. It lives in discomfort, in doing the things you don't feel like doing repeatedly until they become part of your DNA. You want to change your life, change your identity. And changing your identity doesn't mean posting quotes or shouting affirmations into the mirror. It means behavioral alignment. It means acting like the man you want to become, day in and day out, until there's no separation between who you are and who you aspire to be. Ask yourself this: what would the highest version of me do today? Would he sleep in? Would he skip the gym? Would he waste time on nonsense? Would he argue with people online, or would he execute? Would he wake up before the sun, train with intensity, make moves, stack wins, and operate with ruthless focus? That version of you, he's not on some faraway island. He's here, he's watching, waiting for you to get serious. But you keep disappointing him with your small habits, weak mindset, and poor decisions. Act like the person you want to become, because you can't become him unless you act like him first. It's not about pretending, it's about embodying. It's about bringing that version of you into the present through action. You want to be a king? Then stop behaving like a peasant. Upgrade your vocabulary, speak with power, walk like you've got purpose. Show up like your name means something, because it should. Right now, your life is a reflection of what you've tolerated. You've tolerated laziness, procrastination, average effort, cheap entertainment, low energy, poor company. You've allowed these things to define your reality. And every time you accept less than what you truly want, you're teaching yourself that mediocrity is okay. That's the trap. That's how average men stay average forever, by living in the gap between who they are and who they refuse to become. Here's the hard truth. The difference between the man you are and the man you want to be is not luck, money, or talent. It's habits, relentless, consistent action. You build confidence by keeping promises to yourself. You build self-respect by doing hard things without applause. You build success by executing when no one's watching. And if that sounds boring to you, then you're not hungry enough, because the hungry man doesn't care about excitement. He cares about domination. Act like the person you want to become. That means attacking your weaknesses like an assassin. That means holding yourself accountable at a level no one else expects from you. That means showing up with the intensity of a man who's running out of time, because you are. Time is your most precious resource, and you're spending it like it's unlimited. One day, you'll realize you wasted years playing small, and you'll regret every moment you didn't move with power. You've got dreams, prove it, through effort, through discipline, through sacrifice. Every moment you waste is a vote against the life you claim you want. Every excuse you make is a betrayal of your future. You say you want to be elite, then you'd better act like it, because you don't become elite by talking. You become elite by living like it's already true. By grinding like your life depends on it. By becoming undeniable. You can't think your way into a new life. You can only act your way there. If your thoughts don't lead to action, they're just noise. And most people are addicted to noise. They read the books, watch the videos, get the motivation, and then do nothing. That's why they stay stuck. They're addicted to the idea of transformation, but allergic to the work required to actually evolve. So, here's your choice. Stay stuck in the loop of excuses, or become the kind of man who changes the game entirely. Act like a weapon, operate like a machine, move with clarity, precision, and intention. Because every minute you hesitate, someone else is getting sharper, stronger, richer, and more powerful. While you're sitting in indecision, someone else is making moves. While you're distracted, someone else is building. And when the moment of opportunity comes, it won't care how badly you wanted it. It'll go to the man who was ready. You want to become the man who dominates life, then become him now, not tomorrow, not when it's easy, not when you feel motivated, now, before you feel ready, before anyone else believes it. Because once you start acting like the person you want to become, once you live it, the world has no choice but to follow your lead. That's how transformation happens, not through waiting, but through embodied action, through the ruthless decision to stop living as who you've been, and start becoming who you were born to be. The moment you start acting like the man you want to become, your entire world begins to shift, because your actions create your identity. But here's the thing most people miss. You can't just start strong. You've got to stay consistent when it gets boring, when it gets hard, when no one's watching, and when the results take time. The future you want doesn't care how you feel, it cares about what you do. And too many of you are emotional. You operate on feelings instead of discipline. That's why your life is stuck. You're living like a slave to comfort, while the man you want to be only lives in discomfort. The truth is, everything you want is on the other side of consistent action. But consistency isn't sexy. There's no applause for waking up early. No standing ovation for choosing the grind over the party. No instant rewards for going to war with your weaknesses, and that's why most people fail. They want results without process. They want the crown without the sacrifice. But real power, that comes from doing the right things daily, especially when no one's clapping for you. Especially when it's lonely. Especially when your mind is screaming to quit. You need to become a savage about execution. Relentless, cold, calculated. You don't negotiate with laziness. You don't ask your emotions for permission to work. You don't wait for motivation, you don't wait for validation, you wake up and move, you attack the day like a machine programmed to win. That's how killers are made, that's how top 1% men are built, through repetition. Through discipline, through a code of conduct that never bends. Let me ask you something. Do you think the man you want to become skips leg day because he's tired? Do you think he lets self-doubt make his decisions? Do you think he spends hours scrolling through garbage online, wasting his mind and energy on nonsense? Hell no. He's sharp. He's locked in. He treats every second like it matters, because it does. The man you want to be doesn't play life on defense. He's aggressive, he's focused, he's dangerous, and you'll never become him if you keep letting comfort dictate your behavior. Most men want to be lions, but they behave like sheep. They want the strength, the confidence, the status, but they live like followers. They follow trends, they follow weak impulses, they follow the crowd, but lions move different. They lead, they decide, they control their environment, and that's exactly what you've got to do. Stop waiting for change and create it. Stop blaming circumstances and dominate them. Take full control of every aspect of your life and stop outsourcing your success to luck or hope. Because here's the reality, no one's coming to save you. Not your parents, not your boss, not your friends, not your girl. You're either the man who solves the problem, or you're the man who complains about it. And the man who complains is always forgotten. Weakness gets no respect. Struggle without transformation is just noise. You either rise or you fade. That's how the game works. You've got to harden your mind, harden your body, harden your habits, because if you don't, life will punish you. It doesn't matter how nice you are. Life doesn't care about your intentions. It cares about your execution. The guy who works wins. The guy who disciplines himself when no one's watching wins. The guy who keeps going when it's painful wins. That's the man who gets everything, the money, the power, the respect, the freedom, not because he's lucky, but because he earned it with brutal consistency. But most of you aren't consistent because you don't truly believe in yourself yet. You've failed so many times that you're scared to go all in. You dip your toes in discipline, and when it gets uncomfortable, you retreat. That's why yourself. Confidence is in the dirt. Confidence comes from evidence. You build it by keeping promises to yourself. Every time you say, I'm going to do it, and you don't, you weaken yourself. But every time you follow through, even when it's hard, you reinforce the identity of a disciplined man. You want to become powerful, then get obsessed with building that evidence. Stack win after win, no matter how small. Wake up early, hit the gym, read books that sharpen your mind, cut out the distractions. Execute on your goals, say no to things that pull you backward, say yes to discomfort, to the work, to the grind, because that's where your power is forged, in the fire of repetition and rejection and struggle. There is no shortcut, there is only the path, and you either walk it like a warrior, or you sit in the shadows like the rest of the sheep, waiting for a miracle that never comes. You can fake talk all day long, but your life will always reflect your standards. Not your dreams, not your intentions, your standards, and right now, your standards are too low. That's why your results are weak. You're tolerating too much, bad habits, weak people, lazy thoughts, wasted time. You've got to raise your standards so high that anything that doesn't match your vision feels repulsive. You want a high-level life, then live like a high-level man, simple, ruthless, non-negotiable. You have to decide right now that failure is not an option, that average is not an option, that giving up is not an option, that the only option is evolution, and evolution requires pain. It requires sacrifice. It requires long nights and early mornings. It requires you to let go of who you've been so you can become who you were always meant to be. And that kind of growth doesn't come from convenience. It comes from fire. You have to burn the weakness out of you, burn the excuses, burn the distractions, burn the fake lifestyle you've been maintaining. Start acting like you've already made it. Start showing up with the energy of a man who's already successful. Walk into every room like you own it. Handle every challenge like it's beneath you. Talk to yourself like you're a killer, not a victim. Move through life like you were built to lead, to conquer, to rise. Because you were, but if you keep acting like a civilian, you'll never access your inner warrior, and that warrior is the only part of you capable of changing everything. Every day is a test of your patience. Your focus, your hunger. Most people fail because they fold when life tests them. They fold when it rains. They fold when it's uncomfortable. But you need to be the kind of man who thrives in adversity, who feeds off pressure, who grows from pain, because pressure makes diamonds, and pressure also breaks the weak. Which one are you? You can't play this game halfway. You can't have one foot in success and the other foot in comfort. You either go all in or you get left behind. The man you want to become doesn't wait around hoping for better days. He creates them. He doesn't flinch when life hits. He hits back. And the only way you get there is by forcing yourself to show up with power every single day. No matter how you feel, no matter what the world throws at you. Forget motivation. Forget inspiration. Get addicted to discipline. Build your life like a fortress, one brick at a time. Wake up, lock in, execute, every single day, because in a world full of weak men, the disciplined man becomes a god. He becomes unshakable, untouchable. Respected, feared, admired, and that kind of man, he didn't get there by accident. He chose it. He acted like it, until there was no difference between who he was and who he always wanted to be. That's the level you need to operate on. The level where everything is intentional. Your sleep, your training, your eating, your learning, your speaking, your inner dialogue, it's all sharp, all deliberate. No wasted movement, no wasted energy. No wasted time. You move with urgency, with presence, with power. And when you do that long enough, the world starts to treat you differently. Doors open. People listen. Opportunities come, because success recognizes effort. You have to become obsessed with self-mastery, obsessed with progress, obsessed with building a legacy. The world doesn't reward the interested. It rewards the committed. You don't get paid for potential. You get paid for performance. So act like the man who earns everything he touches, who commands respect without begging for it, who makes power moves instead of weak excuses. You want to lead, then outwork everyone. You want to dominate, then outlast everyone. You want to evolve, then out. Discipline everyone. That's the formula, not talent, not luck. Discipline. Relentless, unshakable, focused discipline. The kind that scares the average man. The kind that builds kings. So what's it going to be? Keep playing small, pretending you're trying, waiting for the perfect time, or are you finally ready to become the man you were born to be? Because the second you start acting like him, truly acting like him, you start becoming him. And once you step into that identity, there's no going back. The world bends for the man who moves with power. If you truly want to change your life, stop waiting and start becoming. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, the gap between who you are and who you want to be is built on actions, not dreams. Every step you take in discipline, every moment you choose purpose over pleasure, every time you silence the weakness and act like the man you envision, that's you stepping into power. No one is coming to crown you. You crown yourself through execution, through consistency, through an unbreakable standard. So decide right now. Either you rise and claim your place, or you stay where you are and rot with the rest. Your future is not a question. It's a demand, and it's waiting for you to become the man strong enough to answer it. Act like him, think like him, move like him, until there is no doubt, no hesitation. Only dominance, only victory, only you, fully forged.